Oh, we're back, man. Haven't done one of these in a long time. Yeah, you guys already know why. I've spoken to you guys quite a bit over the last week now, in regards to the G's journal. I said I was tired of doing them for this very reason that we're about to get into it today. But I said, you know what, we can have a chat, we can have a conversation. Make sure you're hitting that like button, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Listen, we know why we're here. Liverpool losing 2-1 at the weekend to Chelsea. Uh, three losses on the bounce. Football just getting worse and worse. It's starting to get really horrible for Liverpool at this current moment in time, in terms of just the playing style and yeah, just everything kind of surrounding that. I'll be honest with you. I think at this current moment in time, Liverpool just looks so, keep saying it, so devoid of ideas, don't really know what's kind of going on, don't really know, the job roles. Certain players look so just out of their depth at this current moment in time. They're doing little things, but in terms of the bigger picture, it's not really coming. I understand people keep saying when it clicks, when it clicks, when it clicks, but in order for something to click, it probably needs an adapter. It probably needs something it needs to plug into first before we can even press that click. You know what I mean? And at this moment in time, we don't have that. With the style of play that Arne Slot is trying to implement, whatever that is, it's just not really working. I'll be honest with you. I just think that whatever it is, and at this moment in time, I'm big up to Jerry because he asked that question not too long ago about, what is the three characteristics or you know of Arne Slot's playing style. And to be honest, it doesn't seem like anybody really knows. We've all got theories, we've all got ideas, we've all got things that we could use potentially from last season. And really, it's probably just the beginning of last season. That's what we can then say, oh, okay, yeah, maybe this, maybe that. But listen, in reality, it's just not really there. I'll be honest, man. You've got a number 10, who didn't even start the game, someone that you've earmarked apparently as someone we need for the team and someone who you think can obviously help the team in those kind of areas, in those forward areas. He's not started off too well. No goal, no assist. Had created chances. I will give him that. He's definitely created chances, but yeah, not really amounting to anything. Not to say that that's his fault if people don't score, but just his overall play, it's just not really there. You got a right winger who, yeah, yeah, it's what more needs to be said. He's been awful. Since the beginning of the season, hasn't really looked up to himself, hasn't really looked himself, hasn't really led the team. He's supposed to be a leader of the team now, and he's just not looked like that. You've got a defense that doesn't seem to know what it is they want to do, whether they're coming, whether they're going. We've put midfielders back in defense. You'd think we'd have a, defensive crisis like we had a few seasons ago where we had no centre backs, but now we're putting midfielders back there. Now we're putting midfielders at right back for whatever reason. I don't even know. Does he trust the right backs that are here? I don't know. It doesn't look like it at this current moment in time. And he's one of those kind of managers that obviously he's not going to call anybody out. He's not going to, sit here and say, oh, yeah, you know what, this player's rubbish. And that's fine. But you sign someone, you don't really want to play him. You're playing someone else there, which then takes him out of that position. By the end of the game, we're playing with a back four that's consistent of Robbo, is coming back into the fold because Kirkes has got to come off. Van Dijk, who's 34 years of age, and for some reason this season he's just, yeah, he's had good moments, but yeah, he's been moving a bit weird. Gravenberg, who's supposed to be Liverpool's number 6 or midfielder, shall we say, then Szoboszlai, over there at right back. And again, I don't even understand that in itself because I don't even feel like that's even, working, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like I thought putting Szoboszlai at right back would have made more sense because obviously we've lost I did the video talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold, and yeah, Liverpool have lost that. We've lost the build up, the build up play, being able to kind of get ourselves out of certain situations, even if it's just with a direct ball forward, someone who's got that level of accuracy. Now, of course, I can't find that accuracy because Trent was kind of the only one who had it, and that's absolutely fine. But it seems without it, the team cannot build to save their lives. They really, really can't. And I'll show you guys something, really, really. So listen, I don't know how many more times I need to keep saying that Liverpool pass the damn ball too slow. Van Dijk into Gravenberg or whoever, who's in the double pivot at the time. So then this guy will obviously come towards him. He'll probably kick it out to him over here. So it's usually Kirkes, obviously over on that side. Then maybe this guy might potentially close down. He's kind of half and half, in itself. Then Virgil kind of moves to this position here. He'll pass it back here, and then this guy will obviously close him down, and then that guy will pass it to the keeper. He's obviously going to close down the keeper. Kanate or whoever's playing right side of centre back will obviously give him the angle, and then obviously it just literally goes along and along and along and along and along, and it's done at this kind of pedestrian pace. Like, I understand passing the ball slow. I really, really do. Like that in itself isn't even a major problem for me. My only problem is that it's just being done so pedestrian like that it then becomes useless in actually doing it, because it's not like we're a team where, if for example, Virgil van Dijk's got the ball here as an example, closing him down here, we're moving. Oh, sorry, let's move this guy. We pass the ball out to, Kirkes on the left, and then you've got this guy here, then you've got this guy who's obviously rotating, and then you've got this guy here, or, potentially he's over there in that position, the double pivot, then, the number 10, whoever that is, on the day, or just the third midfielder, he's coming in there, or, we've got rotations, maybe he comes over here and he comes, and then there's constant movement. Chelsea don't know what to do. Who do we pick up? Where do we pick up? Then this guy is obviously coming over here to just kind of show he doesn't know, should I go? He's got a couple passes he can make. It would be fine if that was the case. Do you know what I mean? And that's the whole point of moving the ball slow anyway, is so that you can have those rotations, whether they be further upfield or whoever. It doesn't actually matter. It just depends on where the ball is, at that moment in time. But we don't have that. And that is the killer. Liverpool don't have the rotations of other teams, it seems like. Everybody stays stuck in their one position and they do their one job and their one role, and then they just leave it at that. And then we hope that if we can maximize that, obviously it will turn out to be good and it will have some level of quality towards it, which I agree with. But I mean, it makes it pretty easy, for a team like Chelsea to just be able to kind of mark that out, a team who can be, relatively disciplined when they kind of need to. We're not really getting the ball. You've got Cody Gakpo out there on this side, who, as we've said, is very, very one-dimensional as it is. But when he kind of gets over here, and he's starting to get maybe a little bit doubled up and, little things like that, everybody's kind of shuffled across and Salah's kind of just lurking, doing whatever it is that he does, kind of thing. Let's say the left back is up here. Usually Kirkes is probably even here at this point, make that run. You think, oh, just pass. And to be fair, I don't think it was Gakpo, but it was someone who did play that pass to Kirkes and he made the wrong decision. Anyways, with Cody Gakpo out there on this left-hand side here, you would just like if he either passed the ball there or would go on the outside, or, just mix it up a little bit. But it's the same thing. I mean, there was a passage of play where he went all the way here for some weird reason, just to cut back in here to then pass the ball, obviously inside. Dominic Szoboszlai then took the shot, and then that was it. But, I'm just watching it, and it's just, everything is so basic with Liverpool. It's like you're teaching this to like academy kids or some, I don't know. Like, everything is just slow. Every single thing is just extremely, extremely, extremely slow. And I think that's what's killing Liverpool, is that it's just giving the opposition way too much time to be able to kind of get themselves back into a position, and then, you put yourself in a place where, okay, when it does start to quicken up, it's only done really through transition. It's not really any build-up play, so to speak. And I'm just wondering what the hell is the plan. I think that's more than anything. What's the plan? What's the go-to? What is it you're trying to do? Kind of thing. Is there really even a plan, in behind it? When we look, I'll show you guys this, right? So this is obviously the Caicedo goal, right? I'll show you guys here. This is the Caicedo goal. Look at the positioning, of the players at this current moment in time, right? Chelsea were, it says it here, all the players highlighted. Keep an eye on them. These are the Chelsea players, and these are the Liverpool players, meant to track those players, right? You think, oh, okay, we've kind of done a bit of man-to-man. You guys can see behind Dominic Szoboszlai already that Caicedo is free. Regardless of anything, for some weird reason, he is free. He's free. So immediately, and obviously you can see Malo Gusto. Now, he was kind of playing in the double pivot position almost kind of rotating and making it a little bit difficult, because I actually believe that Liverpool probably thought that Reece James would be slotting into that kind of position, because we know he can, obviously play there. But he was kind of filling in over there in that right back situation. Malo Gusto was making those third man runs, off the shoulder runs where we just really weren't picking him up. But just highlighting here this Caicedo goal in itself, right? Look at this. João Pedro, he's got the two Liverpool centre backs, so they can't jump. As we can see here, they cannot jump. They can't go forward if the ball obviously just gets pinned into João Pedro as an example, because they know if they do, then he's obviously, well, he would have another defender potentially there, but it could leave them, quite open at the back there. But Caicedo is free. We've seen the first photo, guys. He was free here. McAllister can see everything. Virgil can see everything. Konate can see everything. I'm sure maybe even Gakpo potentially, but let's go with the central players. 3 players in there, they can see that he is free. No one said anything. Guess what? He's still free. Now, you can see that whoever that is, Malo Gusto, obviously he's showing for the ball there. He's made himself free. And you can see, look, Zobo goes on to press Badiashile, Gravenberg on Enzo, McAllister goes to press Gusto. But who's marking Caicedo? Salah is clearly about to lose Cucurella, as he's not even aware of what's behind him. Yeah, he's just ball watching. So, if Cucurella, if Badiashile was able to kind of open himself up and then play that ball in, there would be a gap there regardless. But we're just going to focus on Caicedo at this moment in time. Look at that. He's free. But by the way, look how far McAllister is. Now, obviously, maybe by the time the ball gets there, he could potentially get the ball. You'd think so, right? He doesn't. Look at this, guys. McAllister's already, so we go back to the first thing. He's not close to him or anything. He probably thinks, listen, he's in my periphery. So nothing really wrong. Ultimately, he's got to turn and face me anyway. So let's see what he's going to do. But Caicedo being free is the main problem. And if you're not going to then get touch tight, you're just going to get into this situation right here. Badiashile takes advantage with a line breaker to Gusto, who brilliantly gives Caicedo a wall pass. McAllister knows he's outnumbered and tries to salvage it, but Caicedo's brilliant touch takes the ball away from him. Cucurella is now going to take more attention. Of course he is, because Mo Salah's not going to come back and try. You don't like defending. And then obviously, Chelsea successfully created the space through rotations to give Caicedo all the time in the world to set up his shot. I'll be honest with you guys, looking at this is not difficult. This isn't Barcelona, I'll be honest with you. This ain't, top level and you're thinking, oh my Lord, what have they just done? And accept. No, this isn't really that. It's actually quite simple. Liverpool always want to have the +1 in their kind of back line. So it's usually Gravenberg, but Gravenberg or McAllister are usually kind of back there so that we always have that +1 in the back line. The problem is you're taking it out of the midfield, a midfield that we already only have 2 in that double pivot position. Anyway, it's not like we've got a flat 3. It's not like we've got a rotational 3. It's just the 2 back there with Dominic a bit further ahead and who can obviously always get back, of course, to help out. But he's already pressing. Why the striker's not doing it, I don't really know, but he's pressing. Cool, no worries. It is what it is. And then we get to this situation. And then we get to here. Like I said, Malo Gusto into Caicedo with a shot. And then, it is what it is. And it's just, honestly, it's just so frustrating, watching this. And again, I talk about Malo Gusto in terms of his role and in terms of, what he was kind of doing, within the game and everything like that. And again, you can look and you can see it here, straight away. So obviously Chelsea trying to go man for man in terms of their press. So other than, would I say number 12, that is, I think number 12, obviously number 12 for Liverpool. Obviously, Cucurella is a bit far out. So obviously, if everything's played a bit quicker, then of course he's probably not going to be able to get there. And Liverpool, as I said before, like to have that +1. Obviously, that spare man will of course be there. But Malo Gusto was causing so many issues with his positioning. It almost felt like Liverpool didn't really know what it is they needed to do with him, because he would obviously drop into these areas here, and obviously, as we saw with the goal as well, drop it into those areas, quick 1-2s, and then obviously he knows he can kind of go. Again, he was making those off the ball runs quite a lot, which was then starting to confuse Liverpool a little bit, because then it was just a little bit about who picks him up, where do we go, what do we do, etc., etc. So Malo Gusto, Cucurella, Reece James, even Garnacho, who I thought was actually pretty decent, in the game as well. They're causing issues just with movement. purely with movement. They're not doing anything amazing. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, Chelsea were... No, no, no. They're not doing any of that. They're not doing any of that. It is just done through sheer movement. And that is it. Just sheer and utter movement. And I think that's what's going to frustrate people more than anything else. You know, that's always going to be something that you're always going to look at, and you're always going to see it as, well, if all it takes is just a little bit of movement, doesn't that then just kind of make it a little bit too easy for teams to kind of play against us? Doesn't that just kind of make it, you know, a little bit, you know, when we come up against these kind of teams, like, it's honestly, man, it's just... And the thing is, at this point, I don't even know really even what to say. I'll be honest with you guys, man. Like, I'm kind of lost a little bit for words, you know, when it comes to Liverpool. This, by the way, is hilarious. This actually made me laugh quite a bit. So, as you guys can obviously see here, you know, on the screens and stuff, right? You can see it here. This is Liverpool versus Chelsea. This is back last season, right? It's last season, guys. Liverpool versus Chelsea. Just look at Liverpool off the ball. We're trying to do it like a 4-2-4 press, right? So you can see Caicedo is free. Lavia is free. The two in front are free. I think that might be Cole Palmer, or could be someone else. But you've got 4 players who are free. Really and truly, it's actually a 4v1 in that position, because the guy out here on the right-hand side, who is obviously Cole Palmer, he's obviously going to drag Curtis Jones and potentially even Gakpo, you know, out of that position, which means it frees up the middle. Again, something that Chelsea kept doing. Guess what? This is against Chelsea the other day. The same thing is happening. Liverpool seem to always vacate that middle of the park, and then they've always got space. It doesn't matter who goes in there. So this time, Cucurella can run in there. Caicedo, again, is free. You saw it here. Caicedo, right-sided DM right here, right in the double pivot. He is free. That pass from Reece James can easily go into him. It's free. It's between 2 players. It's not going to be that difficult. As soon as he's got that, he's got acres to burn. Problem is, who then goes? Does Van Dijk then jump? Does Curtis then come across? If Curtis comes across, it then leaves space for Cole Palmer. It's quite simple, isn't it, guys? This is the problem when you have this kind of midfield. This is the problem when you have this kind of team. This is the problem when you're out of possession. Is really, really poor. This is the problem. These are the kind of issues that you find yourself in. You're gonna be in these kind of issues. You're gonna have these kind of problems, and they're not even that difficult to even suss out. The pressing is all off. Out of possession, it just... I don't know what that is. I don't know what the kind of formation is, because one person wants to press, the other one is half pressing, the other one is not doing anything. You've got 2 players standing in the same position, almost trying to press the same person. Guess what? Chelsea, all they need to do is then understand, if we can confuse them a little bit, if we can just... and I'll show you guys here. So, for example, all they needed to do, right, is, let's say Chelsea, as you kind of saw it there anyway with the shot. But all they've got to do is this, and Liverpool are just complete and utterly just out of the game, like completely just out of the game, right? So let's say the number 9, Isak, let's say he's got the ball here. This is all it takes, seemingly anyway. This is what it, for some weird reason, we always seem to have it like this, right? So let's say this guy comes a little bit here. This guy follows. Doesn't really matter who it is. It'll be someone. They'll be available and free. So as you saw with Reece James, all he's got to do is pop it into that person. Once he does that, Cucurella is usually bombing down that side. This guy's probably cutting a little bit, or he's going to help out, you know, to kind of double team and overload on this area of the pitch, and then they can just travel with the ball. It's not that difficult. Like, it's actually annoying me saying all of this, because this is why I didn't want to do this in the first place, because I just felt like we've said this before like 100 times. We've said we passed the ball slow. We said that out of possession we're not great. We say that we for some weird reason we don't seemingly attract these runners and things like that. I don't really understand. Like, do we need to see it again? Like, I'll show you guys again. Do we need to? It's very, very simple. And this is why this is frustrating, for Liverpool and for the fans, because we've seen this 100 times. We've seen how the midfield looks like it's non-existent. We see how when we come up against a mid to low block, we can't seem to break them down. We've seen that we don't have the intricate play within our team. And that in itself, ladies and gentlemen, is the frustrating part, is that I'm watching a team that doesn't seem to have any idea, doesn't seem to have any clue as to what the hell they need to do. But we're supposed to be a team that is supposed to know what the hell to do, but we don't. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to end it there anyway. Like I said, I'll maybe do another one after our next game against United. Let's hope this is not 4 losses on the bounce, because if it is, then yeah, we're going to be having some real conversations about things. I was going to go in on players, but I can't really be bothered. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't really feel even the need. I can cuss everybody, to be honest with you. I think everyone is just not really up to par at this current stage of the season for whatever reason. I don't even care what the reason is. Like, I really don't care. You're just not up to par. That's the facts. The reasons are the reasons. They can be seen as excuses. So the reality is, we need to just buck up our ideas. And I think Arne Slot really needs to buck up his ideas, and he really needs to understand what it is he's trying to do. If it means he's got to go back to basics, then go back to fucking basics. If it means that he's got to maybe drop some players, then drop the fucking players. Stop keeping these players on the pitch, because clearly they're not working out, and have a system that doesn't leave Liverpool, one, looking so shit on the ball, but also so crap off of it. That's my advice. Someone who isn't a coach, well, I'm a level 1 coach, but someone who isn't a fully qualified coach. That's my advice. Take it, don't take it. That's up to you. You're the one getting paid. You're the one going to get who's going to continuously get scrutinized. It's not me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan. Guys, let me know in the comment section. Yeah, let me know, man. What do we need to work on? Like, what do we need to do? Like, give me some ideas, guys, because like I said, I'm just lost, and I'm honestly just getting sick and tired of talking about Liverpool and just tactics, because it's just it's not fun. It's very, very jarring, and it just yeah. I don't want to say I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much, but as I said, let me know in the comment section what you guys think in regards to Liverpool tactically, what needs to change, what we need to improve upon, and also, you know what, name me something that you actually do like about Liverpool tactically. Name me that, those 3 things in the comment section. I'll catch you guys soon, man. Peace.